Hello, students. How you doing today? What I have here is a 30-minute routine using just the first 18 poses that we learned in class in our last lesson. It's going to be the entire first mountain, second mountain, third mountain, all with just these first 18 poses. See what you think. Anyway, let's get started in child's pose. Remember, starting on all fours, and then sinking back into your heels, hands at your side or up top, your choice. Goal, total relaxation. Spend a couple minutes here focusing on our breath, deep belly inhales and exhales, all breaths in and out of our nose. And coming on up and coming up to all fours. And when you're on all fours, try to make sure that your shoulder is directly over your wrists, that your hip directly over your knees. And we're going to start off with some cat and cow. And on an inhale, inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. Do this for several breaths. Inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. And back to all fours, going into spinal balance. Inhaling, right arm up and left leg. Exhaling, release. Inhaling, left arm and right leg up. Exhaling, release. Switching, inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Keep that up for several more breaths. Reaching forward, pushing back. Reaching forward, pushing back. And back to all fours. Next, we're going to do something called a half series. And it's just this flow of poses. It's kind of like a mini sun salutation. So I'm going to start off in kneeling plank. So bringing out my arms a little bit, setting up into a kneeling plank. And then exhale, kneeling crocodile. Inhaling cobra. Exhaling back into a child's pose. inhale, back up to a plank this time. Exhaling, crocodile. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then walking my feet up towards my hands into a forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling into a mountain pose. All right, now I'm going to step back along my mat to get set up for moonflowers and sunflowers. Let's check that squat first. Make sure that your knees are directly over your ankles when you're in your squat. That's thumbs up. Now in an inhale, reaching towards the sky. Exhaling down into our moonflower. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Follow your own breath. Remember to use dynamic tension. Nobody should be able to move those arms. Transitioning into sunflowers. So on this next exhale, hinge at the hips to create a big sunflower. One more. And excellent. All right, stepping back up into a mountain pose. And now we're going to go through sun salutations. We're going to go through sun salutation twice using kneeling poses, so kneeling plank and kneeling crocodile. And then we'll do it 2 more times doing regular plank and regular crocodile. And if you want to do all of it kneeling or all of it non-kneeling, you totally can. All right, so starting here in mountain. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Stepping my left leg back into a kneeling lunge. Exhaling, back into a child's pose. Inhaling to kneeling plank. Exhaling, kneeling crocodile. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling, all the way back into a child's pose. Inhaling, my right leg forward into kneeling lunge. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, chair. Inhaling, back to mountain. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling my right leg back into kneeling lunge. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhaling to kneeling plank. Exhaling, kneeling crocodile. Inhaling, cobra. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhaling my left leg forward into kneeling lunge. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling all the way arms up. Exhaling, chair. Inhaling to mountain. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, my left leg back into lunge. Exhaling, back into downward facing dog. Inhaling, up to plank. Exhaling, crocodile. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling my right leg forward into a lunge. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, chair. Inhaling, mountain. One more time through, everybody. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, my right leg back into a lunge. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling, up into a plank. Exhaling, crocodile. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling, my left leg forward into a lunge. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, chair. Inhaling, back to mountain. All right. Excellent job, everybody. If you have some water, feel free to take a sip of water right now. Moving into mountain 2. So now we'll be holding poses for 5 breaths. Okay, first we're going to start off with sun pose. So we're in mountain pose. We're going to take a big step back. And however far you step for moonflowers and sunflowers, take a little bit of a bigger step for this one. We're going into a deeper lunge, arms coming to the side with dynamic tension. Sun pose. And release. And taking a big step back into a mountain pose. Next, we're going to do chair pose. And we're going to hold this one for 5 breaths. And one thing to remember, when you step back into or sit back into your chair, try to keep your knees over your ankles. Don't let your knees go like this. Try to sit back in your chair and have knees stay over your ankles. So exhaling into our chair, going back as far as you can while keeping knees over ankles. And release. Next is a monkey pose. So we're doing a forward fold, making sure that we keep our back neutral. So inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, fold down into your monkey. Hands come down to your thigh, shins or floor, but keep that spine neutral. All right, from here, bring your right leg back into a lunge, holding this lunge for 5 breaths. All right, well, come on up to standing. Your back leg, bring the heel down to the mat so that your front foot is lined up with your back heel. Our hips square towards the front. Our arms coming up for warrior 1. And release, coming all the way down. We're going to do a half series here. Going down into plank, and crocodile, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog, or child's pose. You can do child's pose right now if you'd like. Okay, now we're going to do lunge with the other leg. So bring your right leg forward into a lunge. Knee over ankle. All right, and now we're going into our warrior 1 on the other side. So we're coming up, dropping down our ankle with our back foot and having our front foot lining up with our back ankle. Hips square to the front, arms raised. And release, coming all the way down into our plank, and crocodile, inhaling upward facing dog, exhaling downward facing dog. While your hands are on the mat, don't forget about starfish fingers. Starfish fingers. Say starfish fingers. Starfish fingers. All right. Walk or jump your feet up towards your hands. Go forward fold. Inhaling, reverse swan dive up. Exhaling, down to mountain. All right, that was our second mountain. Let's go ahead and do our balance pose now. I know it's not part of the first 18 poses, but we always do a balance pose. We'll do a tree pose again. So starting in mountain pose, gripping the floor with your feet, quads, core, hands. Now shifting the weight to the right side of your body, bringing your foot up to either your ankle, calf, or thigh. Hands, heart center, or let your branches grow. And release. Back to mountain. One more breath to just refocus. Shifting my weight to my left side of my body. Bringing my foot up. Ankle, calf, or thigh. Don't bring your foot up to your knee. Bring your hands to heart center. Or let your branches grow. And release. All right, so let's go ahead and do our third mountain now. Just getting down into child's pose. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Stepping back into a kneeling lunge. Then down into child's pose. Finding your breath in child's pose. All right, coming up onto all fours. Now, we're going to do a third mountain cat and cow, meaning we're basically going to hold cow for 10 breaths, and we're going to hold cat for 10 breaths. Maybe a little less than 10 breaths. But anyway, let's start off with cow pose. So on an inhale, work into cow. Now work cow for the next several breaths. Really engage those core muscles, front and back, to work this back bend. All right, now the counter, cat. So on an exhale, rounding your spine up. And back to all fours, and then sinking back into your child's pose. All right, coming onto our belly for cobra pose. Now remember, cobras have no arms, so we don't really use our arms in this particular pose, even though they're right here. But think of your legs as being your cobra tail. So you're flexing your feet, you're flexing all your leg muscles and becoming a stiff cobra tail. Your core muscles are engaged, and then you're lifting from the chest. Don't lift from the neck, lift from the chest here. And we're lifting up, and your hands are on the floor as a support. That's it. And release all the way back into child's pose. Okay, coming back up onto all fours, and the spinal balance this time. So all fours, shoulders over elbows, hips over knees. On an inhale, lifting up, right arm, left leg. Really reaching forward, stretching back. Dynamic tension. Nobody should be able to move your arm or leg. And exhaling back down to all fours. Inhaling up the left arm and right leg. Dynamic tension. Reach forward, stretch back. And release back to all fours, sinking into child's pose. Coming on up into kneeling plank, kneeling crocodile, rolling onto our back for knees to chest. One really good knees to chest for the day. Any remaining tension you may have in your body, this is a great time to just curl up into a ball and release that tension down into our final pose of every yoga session we do, final relaxation. And try to spend the next couple minutes absolute motionlessness, just focusing on your breath. All right, coming back to the Titan Gym. side slowly. Coming up to a sitting position. Everybody, thank you very much for sharing this yoga practice with me. It was the first 18 poses, but as you can see, it was an entire 30-minute yoga routine. So an entire 30-minute routine you can do with just 18 poses. That's awesome. So thank you again. Have yourselves a great day. And as we finish every practice, namaste.